Hi, I'm Christoph, the Technical Director of Computer Controls. Quite often I get asked, why should one invest in a new oscilloscope, and especially when you already have one? Well, there are several reasons to do that. And it doesn't really matter in what kind of application space you're working. So that can be the design of a very complex electronic solution, that could be debugging of serial buses, that could be a physics experiment, or any other application where it's required to look at the signals in time domain. With a new state-of-the-art oscilloscope, you will be able to do your job faster and do it with more confidence. Now, when it comes to confidence, there are two aspects on the oscilloscope which are important. The first one is the stability of the time base, because the time base stability directly translates to the horizontal axis. Basically, the spacing between the individual samples that you take is more accurate. When it comes to the vertical axis, this feature is equally important. Here, the AD, or the analog to digital converter, is very important, as well as the noise performance of the analog front end. If you combine these two features, then you will get an oscilloscope with a high signal fidelity. This in essence means that the signal you see on the screen looks very much like the signal you're probing here. And you do not want that your measurement device is actually deteriorating the measurement signal and the measurements themselves. So here we have an EXR and an Mxr Oscilloscope from Keysight Technologies. They are both pretty new, they were launched last year, and they incorporate exactly these two features. They have a very stable time base for the x-axis, a very good noise performance, and a 10-bit analog to digital converter to give you a very good resolution here. Today's complex electronics and designs, and they get even more complex in the future, they require you to look at several signals at the same time. And you want to see how these signals interact with each other, if they have an influence on each other or not. Here on both Mxr and the EXR you have up to 8 analog channels here, and the good thing is you can make use of all these 8 channels simultaneously with its full bandwidth and the full memory. There's no compromise. Independent of how many channels you have turned on, you always have the maximum performance. On top of that, unfortunately you can't see that from the front, there's a connector here at the back for 16 digital channels, and you can turn on these 16 digital channels without compromising the performance of the 8 analog channels. So in total you have 24 channels available with the full performance of all these channels. Now think about this. You can look at more signals than you could ever before on an oscilloscope simultaneously. And there is more actually to these two oscilloscopes. You have built-in counters which work on the analog channels. You have a built-in digital voltmeter to measure a DC voltage level. You have here on the back an output of a signal generator up to 50 megahertz, and on top you have real-time spectrum analysis. This is exclusively on the Mxr available. But yes, you heard right. Real-time spectrum analysis, a feature which you usually know from a classical spectrum analyzer. And the good thing here on this scope is you can do that on one single channel, but you can do it also simultaneously on all 8 analog channels. Now this is something that can be really helpful when you work with multiple input, multiple output, so-called MIMO designs, or just in general when you're probing a signal and you want to see if this signal is generating any spurs or harmonics or elusive signals which are unwanted. Now last but not least, there's a pretty neat feature on both oscilloscopes. It's called the fault hunter. You can actually see it running here. The fault hunter analyzes the input signal with statistical means, and by doing so it is capable to detect a single event which causes an error among billions of events. Now think about this, this is really tremendous and not seen before on any oscilloscope. And the really nice thing is you can let this feature run for up to 2 days without any human interaction. So you can let the oscilloscope search for this single error among many other correct signals without any human interaction. Now, I'm pretty sure that one or the other capability or feature of these two oscilloscope families resonates with you or any of the measurement challenges that you're currently facing. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're curious, do not hesitate to contact us. give us a call or shoot us an email, and we will be more than happy to discuss your application and your challenges with you. So in that sense, stay safe, stay healthy, and see you next time.